this time on Lazy Cat Computing. I have a docking station that happens to be attached to an Edgelord. Let's fail to attempt to upgrade the thing. So let's have at it. So, laptop, new trackpad. Why, you might ask? Well, for many reasons, actually. You see this? That's why that trackpad is garbage. We're gonna replace it with a different one that isn't garbage, so this shouldn't be too horrible. But, you know, famous last words. So, for the ThinkPad E431, there's a little bit of a story that goes along with this one, and I kind of don't know how else to put it other than, I'll just do it. So, this device came from a Mr. Nate Pick. We were discussing it one evening, and I kind of wanted his ThinkPad. I was curious about the Edge series, but I never really got into it super hard, and he was gracious enough to go ahead and do a trade with me. I ended up trading him a GPU, he ended up trading me this ThinkPad. And from there, you know, we worked things out. I've obviously replaced the battery because he didn't send it with one. It was trashed anyway. There was no reason to add weight to the shipping if there wasn't necessary. He did toss extra RAM in there, so it is running 16 gigs of RAM. And I believe the SSD he also put in there is like a 250 gig SSD. Both are a brand that he trusts, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Now, beyond that, I had high hopes, as you'll see here momentarily, to replace the trackpad with one from a ThinkPad T440p. The T440p and this ThinkPad were allegedly, from the research I had done, really close to each other and should have interchangeable parts. However, what I've found is this is actually not correct. The trackpad doesn't fit. It would require dremeling out of the palm rest, but the connector is there, and it would work if you could get it to sit down in there. Except the other problem is that the screws won't line up. So I ended up taking it apart here, realizing this whole thing was a waste of time. Didn't end up getting it returned inside the eBay window because life happened. And so I now have two trackpads, as I got one that was a mistake. They sent me a diving board when I requested to not have one.
Go ahead, Daddy, do it.
Which is lovely, eBay, thank you. But the other half of it is that I did finally get the trackpad I wanted. It's one from a T450, which is the upgrade mod done on a T440. And either I still didn't get the right trackpad, or that mod doesn't actually work. I'm guessing I still got the wrong one, but hey. At the end of the day, it didn't work out. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I ended up just reassembling it here, as you're probably seeing. But from there, honestly, I'm moving on to the Linux distro. Now, the distro I went with this one is one that I've been slowly using on non-production hardware. It's the Linux Mint Debian edition. The Debian edition being Linux Mint, but Debian. And this is not going to be the greatest frame rate in the world because it's just Intel graphics, but yeah, we got a recording. So she's nothing special to write home about, and that's kind of the big thing about this laptop. It's not built the best, but it's not built the worst. It has okay battery life, and I've got LMDE on it for a reason. Largely because LMDE is just Mint, but on Debian. And I like that, and I'm actually liking it a lot. It's a little bit snappier. You lose out on some tooling. Driver manager and kernel manager would be too, so if you need those. Although if you need to be swapping kernels, maybe you should know something about Linux and you should go learn, but this device gets along pretty decently well. And I'm going to show you my fast fetch too, which will be in my dot files. I'm going to try to get those sorted out on the GitLabs and the GitHubs of the world, so you guys can take a look at them if you want to. But yeah, it's just a cool way, you know, to view your system information. And the one I use in the Linux cast usually has some more info, like for challenge details and whatnot. But I'm not doing a challenge right now. This one's just a machine in the fleet. So for now, we're just going to keep it and keep it going. But yeah, that's kind of the fun thing about this computer. Is it's just a fun machine. And no, it does not have 8 threads. Do not believe you, it only has 4. I will prove it. Rawr. Those are 4 threads. All 4 of them. As Nate is not a fan of 2 cores and 4 threads, I don't really care. This is not a machine I'm going to be doing heavy lifting on anyway. It's really just a machine that is made to do the basics, and that's what it's going to do. And you can also see here, and I'm going to go ahead and bash my fingerprint install script because I needed to do this anyway, and just give it a moment to bake. This laptop has a supported fingerprint reader, which is phenomenal. I don't know why it does, but it do. And that's great. There aren't that many fingerprint readers that are supported, but there are some that are. And I will pull up here in a second, as you'll see, my finger completely enrolls, no problem at all. And part of the script is it sets the authentication to let fingerprint authenticate sudo. It also lets it authenticate login, which is awesome. It means I get a login with my finger. And if it fails, it just falls back to your sudo password, which is fine. But yeah, I've got a validity sensors VFS5011. It's one of the supported models. So you just install libfprint, you enroll your finger, and then you enable the authentication for it, and then you've got a fingerprint reader. Tons of guides out there for it. Like I said, once I get my dot file sorted out, there'll be a script on there you can use. It's literally just for Mint here, but the webcam is not great. I apologize for being out of sync here. I actually had to record this separately, so I apologize. It's bad. We'll just leave it at it's bad, to say the least. Changing the resolution does nothing, and that pretty much be that. Final thoughts on the thing. Look, I like this thing. The docking station being stupid cheap is also pretty cool. I need to actually put it in place here and use it. Instead of my USB-C one, maybe. I don't know. I don't end up using my USB-C dock very much. I've got a mini PC and a main thing, and you know, at some point there'll be a video on that too. But until we get there, this is what I got. So, but yeah, overall, this thing, it's a laptop, and it does laptop-y things, and that's the important bit. It's not super heavy. It's 15 inches. It's well built enough without being too overbuilt. It still has a DVD drive. You've still got your prehistoric VGA port, and ironically enough, HDMI is also playing a role here. A reasonable cooling system, socketed CPU. You can upgrade this thing to an i7 of this generation, which would be worth it. And it could be a workhorse for you. The battery I bought is not the best. The GNU batteries tend to be okay. This one does not support charge thresholding for some reason. Defective, I guess. But overall, it's a solid machine, and if you had one, it'd be fine. If you find one for parts out there, by all means. But otherwise, I don't know that I necessarily go out of my way to buy one. This was just an opportunity to get one. I always wanted to see what the Edge series was like, and now I know. So if you like the video, go ahead and like the video. As you can see, over Christmas break, I got a few gifts for myself, including a new audio interface and whatnot. And there'll be a video eventually on that, how my desk setup works, how I'm recording, and how I'm kind of doing this thing, really, including having reflections in my glasses. So with that, I just hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Let's go break some more stuff.